welcome. It's me again. I listened to the recording from last night, the one on the phone anyway. Still haven't listened to the part on the laptop, the shorter part. But one thing I forgot to address in all the quote rambling that I did was the whole compassion thing. I was floored when I found out, like a year after I was begging for Dave's help. And he was just, he did she's getting all fired up with politics. This is in writing. She's getting all fired up with politics, fired up about politics, and we tried to get her to stop watching the news, but it didn't work, so don't bother. Oh, Dave and even Amy, I guess, tried to get her to stop, and maybe Carol too. I don't know. It sounds like everybody was having a problem with her, and I'm the one who gets fucked, right? Well, Dave couldn't do it, so if Dave can't fix it, it can't be fixed, right? Because Dave's Superman. Fuck him. Fuck him. No, at this point, Steve is complaining about it. I was, it was the thing that I was dealing with most in my life, actually. Not the jobless thing in COVID, but mother going fucking insane. Being out angry and shit. I was stepping on eggshells all over the place. The three of us, turns out Carol would have been on board. Or at least she was on board with we gotta walk on eggshells around her. And if us four, then there was a fucking intervention was needed. An intervention was needed, and it turned out it was an intervention of one, and I got fucked because of it. Dave turned tail and just didn't care. He didn't care. He had his babysitter and his little life, and he just took what Steve and I knew would be he's not going to rock the boat. He took that to the other extreme. He was the one building the boat for her. God protect Nancy. You can't let Nancy have any issues. He even pulled out I don't know, I think when I was talking about how angry she is. This is all in writing, all in text with him. Talking about how angry she is, and blah, 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 and scapegoats, and I can't take it. I don't know where it's coming from. It's all coming at me, and I don't need this. I'm trying to build still get a job and shit. I took that to Dave. His response was, I don't know, I think she's doing pretty well since Pops died. Pops died 10 years prior to this. 10 fucking years. Look at what I've been through in a much shorter period of time. 10 years. She's had people coddling her up to that point for 10 fucking years, and that still comes out of Dave's mouth. Well, what Dave really means is we're keeping her down. Shortly after Dad died, I was pushing her, not pushing her, talking about options, about, hey, redecorate the house. That helped with Kenan. When I made things my own, when I broke up with him, you make things your own. You create your own new space. You don't get rid of the other person, but it helps you not wallow in stuff. And I was telling her, if not go on dates, go on friend dates or something. Go on, have a little, meet new people. Go do new things. Start new hobbies. Oh, I'm telling all this to a narcissist, right? She did go out to some support group a couple times or something like that, but she just went right back into her old her old crew, and then started complaining about being at third or fifth wheel all the time or whatever. Well, you can't complain about both. How many times have I had to restart in life? Not really had to like relocated or whatever, up and moved, college and down here, and then different partners, and moving to Maryland, and moving back to here, and now this. You meet new people. She's the people person, right? She's the people person, not me. It's just fucking insane. But so yeah, Dave means, I'm keeping her down. I'm keeping her in her old groove. We'll protect Nancy. We got her back. Amy was doing that. I don't care what she thinks or what she does. I'm gonna work for her my entire life until I die. Amy is such a fucking kiss ass. She just wants to be the matriarch of the family. She's wanted that from the beginning. We all knew that. We knew that before when Dave broke up with her. So she came crawling, crying back to him. She's kind of she's a little empire builder. Both of them got to be in control of everything. People talk about me being a control freak. No, I'd rather people decide their own stuff. Go do their own thing. Well, I can choose to be part of it or not a part of it. I may choose to control my own life sometimes, a lot of times. And hey, if you want to come along with it, fine. But this is the way I'm doing it. That's not being a control freak. That's just making decisions. But yeah, he pulled that shit out, right? So here I am, reaching to him, pulling my fucking hair out, not knowing what to do for some of my life with my mother. And he's pulling out it's only been 10 years and look at how good she's doing. What'd she do in 10 years? What did she do? What did she accomplish? Wonderful things. And she kept doing the same shit, sitting on the sidelines of games, not being involved with them, not being scorekeeper, not being anything. She's always the judge and never be judged, lest she never be judged. That's what she's done. She uses the excuse, whatever excuse, her whole life. She's done that. I remember, why can't you be a cupcake mother or room mother or whatever in school? Well, I have kids. That one didn't dawn on me, but it kind of did. But I'm not strong enough to push it with her until the narcissism thing, hit me. And all these things came flooding back through, flooding into my brain. That made sense. What mother doesn't have kids? And how many of them have just one? It's like, she had Aunt Gerald and a bunch of older cousins next door that could babysit. And, she had so much going. And Carol, and there were so many options for her to do things. And she was always having an excuse why she couldn't do it. Cooking, now that I've taught myself how to cook, I bake bread and make sauces and I really learned how to cook because I had to, because I was on food stamps, and I had to make the best. I had to not buy food that were already dedicated to a meal or something, so I had to learn how to cook. Sourdough bread, soft pretzels, bagels. Bagels are really, really, really good, especially sourdough bagels. Oh my God. Fresh bagels out of your own oven are the best. Yeah, this stuff is not hard. It's not hard. In fact, sometimes it's easier than going to the stores and getting the shit. But of course, pressure cooker. I use a pressure cooker. Well, I left the house. I use a pressure cooker all the fucking time now. I make pulled pork and all kinds of other stuff. Soups. Oh, you can't make soups. Can't make spaghetti sauce. Carol makes spaghetti sauce. can't make spaghetti sauce, pasta sauce, whatever you want to call it. It's too hard. It's so fucking easy. Like, sometimes, if you're not doing the whole simmer all day with own tomatoes thing, which you can do, it's not simmer all day, it's like, half an hour or something like that. You can saute up your best pasta sauce ever, or pasta, topping ever. 5 minutes. Yeah, 10, 15 with prep while you're doing other things in the kitchen anyway, though. While the pasta is cooking, you can literally make stuff while the pasta is cooking. But no, it's too hard. Everything is too hard for her. That's vulnerable narcissism, Kim. That's vulnerable narcissism. She could never, why couldn't she ever be like a uniform mother, or a equipment storage, or handling, or whatever, tracking, or scorekeeper, or, I mean, I know she did these things like a little bit here, and I'm talking about like real stuff. Why couldn't she be like a base judge, or base ump, or whatever, a ref ump? I don't know, fucking sports, whatever it is, where they are right there. She's literally sitting there. It's because she's a narcissist. She always wants to be able to judge. She wants to be able to call a ref on bad things, but she doesn't want to be called. She doesn't want to be the target of that kind of thing. And she wants to be lazy. That's vulnerable narcissism. So, there's so much more stuff, like everything that went zippering back to my childhood when I realized the narcissism thing. Just, Kim, you don't have no clue. She is a vulnerable narcissist. She's an evil, vulnerable narcissist. Oh, hobbies are another one, right? Hobbies. She couldn't read. Oh, that's too difficult. She never took on any hobbies. Dad's doing not only teaching me how to put electricity and drywall in, and telephones, and this, that, and the other thing, and what's in the back of the TV, and teaching me how to use these 150-in-1 kits, or at least getting them for me. And like, he built a Cutty Sark model, for God's sake. That was something he pulled out of his ass. He built the train set that just, oh my God, that was like the best gift ever. I was so happy to see that. There's a workbench from the story on the other tape. Dad did all these things. He was doing drumming. He was working out in the basement. He was doing all this other stuff while she sat on her fucking ass. She pretends like she was busy all day long. She was not. I mean, she did stuff. Yeah, she did stuff. Of course. 4 kids, how can you not do stuff? You have to do stuff. You gotta survive. You gotta fold laundry. You gotta do your... You know what? But Dad worked too. And he did all that stuff. Like, she got away with this her whole life, of making it sound like she was this fucking victim. That's vulnerable narcissism. Look it up. Read it. Watch a bunch of different doctors. It's vulnerable narcissism. It's evil. There's so much more. But yeah, compassion. So take all that stuff, all that, like, realize how much she's lying. Because those things, they're all lies. Hands down. No question about it. They are lies. She could do all that stuff. It is not too hard to make pasta sauce. It is not too hard to make bread. You know what? 4 ingredients normally. Flour, water, salt, yeast. Almost always, unless you're doing something special, are there 4 ingredients. You add like butter for soft pretzels. You add like focaccia bread, some other breads. You add lots of olive oil. 5 ingredients. 2 of them are salt and water. flowers, very good. Yeah, this is a woman who complained about things being too hard when she literally could have just. And most of the time it's doing its work while it's sitting over there on the counter. And getting nice and big. And push it down and it gets nice and big again. I didn't have a stand mixer or anything. Every bit of bread I made was made. If it was a kneading bread, the bread that you needed, I made like the pretzels. You just knead, and even that, it's like so fucking easy. The yeast does most of the work. If you just wait for a lot of it to happen. And once you know how to do it, you just deviate from the recipe. And well, I got time, so I'm not in a rush to make these bagels or whatever. So I'll just let the yeast do a little bit more work, and then I'll do an easy knead, and then it's done. It's vulnerable narcissism. Take all that. Take all the fact that she lies, that she protects herself no matter what. And if she's not doing something, she has to have an excuse for it. She has to have some bogus, lying excuse for why something is or is not happening. That's what she does. I didn't think she used to lie. I used to think she didn't lie, but except when she was trying to save face, or just tell them. Whenever she says, just tell them that. Just lie to them. I said, no, I'm not going to tell somebody, or I'm not going to pretend that something so I can get in a line to get another free thing at Costco. I'd look at her like, no. Yeah, it was good. It's not worth lying. I might go up to them and say, hey, I'm visiting. Yeah, that was really good. Mind if I have another one of those? I can't buy any now because I got to, travel back home and stuff. Am I having another one of those? Another flavor or whatever? I'll do that. They can say no. They usually don't. But she's always about the lying. Pretend that you weren't there. Well, those are lies. Every single one of those things are lies. I don't do that stuff. Gets me in trouble now. Used to not. This maybe I dress look, my butt look big. Unfair question. So I either look at somebody and don't answer a question like that, whatever version of that question it is. Oh, isn't it such a cute little apartment? It could be a tiny little hole in the wall. I answer something like that if it's true. Like, wow, you made really interesting use of the space. I couldn't live, in something this small, but I'm glad you're happy here. Or, yeah, how about that? What about that? You still have that other dress that you wore last year? I thought that would look better on you. I'll answer a different question, which I hate when people do that to me. But in that case, that's an unfair question. It's an unfair question. So rather than lie, if I'm going to answer, I'll do something like that. It's called integrity. Again, it's called integrity. Nancy has none of it. She's a narcissist. They don't have it. They don't even have real empathy. They call them crocodile tears. They just... When she's crying, it's about her. When she's crying, it's about her. They say things like, I'm sorry you feel that way. You could add about me to the end. I'm sorry you feel that way about me. Not I'm sorry I hurt you. I'm sorry I accidentally hurt you. I'm sorry, what can I do to, not do that again in the future? Help me understand the situation. Well, I'm sorry you feel that way. Boy, if you ever hear that, that person is almost certainly a narcissist. I'm sorry you feel that way. It's almost certainly a narcissist. Because it's about them. Yeah, the about me on the end there. I don't like the fact that you're feeling bad about me, about something that I did. It's all that's saying. When I apologize to somebody other than, hey, I bumped into you, hey, sorry about that. But she does. I apologize in detail. It's like I thank in detail if it's anything more than just a casual thing. Hey, that thing that I did, I realized blah, 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 blah. If somebody told me that blah, blah, blah had some effect, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. I never can decide to hurt somebody. I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. I didn't realize that was going to happen, or I should have, looked into it more. And I'm sorry it hurt you in this way. That's how I apologize. If I thank somebody, when I thank somebody for real, it's hey, that thing you did, you might not even remember. Yeah, here's what that did for me. That meant a lot, whether you realize it or not. And I'm going to let you know that. Thank you. Thanks for that. Because that's a real thing. That's a real apology. Narcissists don't do that. How many times have you ever heard Nancy do and apologize for something in any kind of detailed way? She doesn't. You should see the stuff at the end in text. She struggles. She cannot do it. She cannot take any ownership whatsoever about things. I never I went through this wrote 58 pages about how she's been disrespecting me. She says, I am not, nor have I ever disrespected you, Bern. I think is how she said it. That's Nancy. Miss Compassion, right? Oh, sweet little old grandmother, right? Bus driver. That is Nancy saying that she gets to decide not only when she has been disrespected or she feels she's been disrespected. That is Nancy deciding if she has done it. She has disrespected and treated anyone else with disrespect too. Again, she's a narcissist. She likes to control both sides of things. Because in that same conversation, she was talking about being disrespected. That's all I'm writing, Kim. That's all I'm writing. She's a narcissist. Sweet old little grandmother narcissist until, they call it the mask coming off. If you see the mask come off, which I did, Steve did, a long time ago, because the two of them blew each other's off. When you see their mask come off, it's over. You're over. You can rip their mask off, but everyone will tell you if you can avoid doing that, just go away. Do so and just go away. Like Carol's advice. Carol knew exactly what to say right there. You just gotta stay away. Yeah, well, it's too late for that. But yeah, I can't now because she's got me forced to stay away in court, just like my brother. I'm going through all this. All that narcissism was coming at me. Dave, I reached out to Dave, compassion, right? We're talking about compassion here. That's why I wanted to restart this. Because it was on your Facebook page, Kim. This is the great irony, the great hypocrisy of the Meehan family. A year after I started contacting Dave, going, what the fuck is up with her? Help me. This is weird. Why am I experiencing this?